Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you in part by Story Bleich Roofing. We've got you covered. Metal, slate, tile, asphalt, shingle, or locals you can trust. Right here in Pensacola, Florida. That's Story Bleich Roofing. I'm your host, Thomas Faddis, alongside two other short track guys in the studio, as always. Jim Pokrant, driver of the 07, sportsman here at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, and Ted Baber Video Productions. What's up, guys?
Greetings. How y'all doing tonight?
How's it going over there?
Yeah, it's going good. We're back in Short Track Guys podcast style. After missing a week, we've got locals Friday night, Saturday night here, Five Flag Speedway, Mobile. We've got some Cars Tour action coming up. We've got some, ground pounder, Justin Bonsignor news.
Bubba Pollard news.
Some Bubba Pollard news coming up.
We got Hickory coming up tomorrow.
Yes, we got a lot to cover. We're going to start out in our backyard with that Modifieds of Mayhem event here at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola. The Outlaws started off with a feature at the Face Chapel. Woo! Logan Boyette gets it done.
Yeah, didn't cross the finish line first, but he got the win.
Yeah, Derek Griffin ended up winning that race by a decent margin and got to the tech area and found a seal on one of his crate motor seals was tampered with, judged to be tampered with by the tech officials, so he was tossed. And second place Scooter Grice was claiming a crate engine with no seals, and that's a no-no. So Scooter got tossed. And I hate it for Scooter because, man, it was good to see him back on a racetrack. He hadn't raced in a while, and wow, it was good to see him run second. But, you know, it got to have the rules. Logan Boyette was first one to the line. It was legal. And then Gary Godwin, a good one, run second. Man, Gary's been getting fast, y'all. He run top 5 in that race, and then he ended up second. So good job to him and his crew.
Yeah, Logan Boyette, Gary Goodwin, Bubba Winslow, another one that's always fighting for the win. Carter Taylor and Wayne Niedecken Jr. Rounding out the top 5 in those Outlaws. And, you know, I got to say, those Outlaws are pretty good. They're pretty sporty. That's a pretty sporty class.
It is. And they're growing in numbers. They're starting to get more of them. It's a good class. I just got to keep the costs under control, and they'll grow because that class is – there's some good drivers, young drivers in that class that are coming up, too.
Yeah, we've got Kevin Chase, Jesse Smith, Jason Welch, Derek Griffin, obviously down at the bottom of the DQ, and Scooter Grice also right there with him. But, hey, the turnout was decent for that, but they always put on – you could put 3 cars in that race, and they put on a show.
Oh, yeah. I've yet to see one of those. Well, there was one when Derek Griffin dominated last year, but for the most part, somebody's had to come through the field. Plus, with the new rules, with the winning driver having to start 6th.
Right. Yeah.
That makes it more exciting for the fans.
Yeah. And the Modifieds of Mayhem in that Friday night deal at Five Flags. They had a pretty good turnout, too, and I like those Modifieds with Jeff Letson from Huntsville, Alabama, taking the win. Tim Moore, Jackson Bishop, Jeremy Williams, and Richie Smith around that top 5. And it looks like, let's see me go down the list here, and we've got Chris Cotto at 13th for the first one around this local area.
The local guy.
Yeah, he's the only one, yeah. But I tell you what, Jeff Letson is a modified ace.
Yeah, that 131 gets it around that circuit.
Oh, yeah, he gets around everywhere he goes. Montgomery, Sayre, it doesn't matter where he runs, he's fast, and it's good to see him. Ain't seen him win one in a while, so it's good to see him get back to victory lane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just going to run down the top 5, and it's Jeff Letson from Huntsville, Alabama, Tim Moore, St. Petersburg, Florida, Jackson Bishop from Tony, Alabama, Jeremy Williams of Forestdale, Alabama, and Richie Smith from Hernando, Florida. So, Florida, Alabama, we got some Ohio, all over Florida, really, and Alabama. But, Chris Cotto, 13th. I know that's not probably the finish he is expected. We know Chris Cotto runs up front just about everywhere he goes, but the local guy from Milton.
He's going to keep digging.
He will keep digging, and we'll see more of those Modifieds of Mayhem for sure. I love that class. I like that class. Anyway, sportsman news. Parker McDonald, James Patrick, Daryl McDonald, Jim Pokrant, our one and only, and Rob Lavery here. 5 competitors in that sportsman class, Jim. Friday night at Five Flags. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was a good show. I started in a McDonald's sandwich again. I started in between the 2 McDonald's, and me and Parker got to beating and banging a little bit and got a little too much beating and banging, and I fell back to 5th, and that's where I ended up finishing. I finished 3rd in my heat race, not too shabby. We're still having a fuel issue, but I think I found it. I hope and pray we found it. But we didn't run too shabby. The car ran the whole race, and the feature didn't give us any issues, so we got something to build on. I got to thank James Patrick for the loan of the carburetor and his help, and he's going to help me some more. So that shout out to him. And anyway, it was fun. And congratulations to Parker McDonald. And by the way, he graduated high school that morning.
Yeah.
Drove to
Congratulations.
Pensacola and went racing. So the young man is now officially out in the real world. So you better watch out. That's his second feature win this year. So congratulations, Parker. Good job. And, your brother running in the top 3. Always fun to race the McDonald family.
Yep, the Muffler Mafia, which we were going to give. Yeah, we're going to give another shout out when we sign off here shortly. But the Muffler Mafia, hey, they're getting it done at Five Flags, getting it done at Mobile, helping everybody. Great spirit in racing, great talent, great family, great business. We're proud to have them coming back on board, and we'll give them another shout out as we sign off.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Crown Stocks. Wow.
God.
Is there anybody that didn't show up for this one?
Everybody came.
There was a couple of cars that weren't there, and if they were there, it would have been even more because I think Mr. Young wasn't there, the 44 car.
Right.
And there's a couple other ones that didn't get to run. I think they had some issues, but let me tell you something. That race is so much fun to watch because whether you're running up front, you're running in the back, you're passing, you're banging, you're swapping, they're getting sideways, they're chasing the car. I mean, they just put on a show. And Tony Boyd runs second in his heat race in the 47 car. Blake owns it. I can't think of what I said. His Meredith owns the car. Tony did a little tweaking on it and runs second to the second place finisher in the feature.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And another big shout out to our lady driver in that race, Dee Davis, who was the Crown Stock Driver of the Week a few weeks ago. She finished 8th.
And she got totally pushed sideways in that race at one point. It was ridiculous.
Oh, I turned her sideways back in the early sportsman days. She can drive a race car. Let me tell you something. That old girl's tough. She ain't scared. That's for sure. So congratulations to her on her first top 10 finish. And, Okie led a lot of it. He broke. And then that dadgum pesky 26 car or whatever number it is, the 462 car. Dang, I got it backwards. Dyslexic. The 62 car. And I mean, Doug Thorpe he was a late model racer way back when. And
yeah.
But it wasn't like he drove away.
No.
They were right there with him. So
there were several opportunities, especially when they got in lap traffic. That was kind of a recurring theme throughout the entire night. Lap traffic really created some problems for a lot of drivers.
Well, when they don't have, I think they got to run receivers so that the tire's able to tell them the leaders are coming up. But I think every class should run radios. That's just my opinion. I think every class and every division should be allowed radios if you want them.
Yeah, and let the drivers handle some of the stuff, some of the business on the track. Don't be trying to tell them everything that they should be doing. I mean,
gee, who does that?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. Did this chubby fella in the tower?
Could be. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I've heard him several times. Tell people how to drive, and dude, just zip it.
Yeah.
If they wreck each other, it's stuff for the crowd to see. It makes the crowd excited. They beat and bang on each other. Stop telling them, stop hitting on each other. Let them crap on each other. That's part of racing.
Yeah, that is racing.
That's it.
It's kind of what it's about. A little bit.
I didn't know it's gone that far.
But I mean, like we were talking about earlier before we got started, Thomas, you asked me what the difference between running up front and just having fun. Man, being on that racetrack, I've been going out there since I was 9 years old. Wanted to be a race car driver since I was 9. I finally got to do it in my early 20s. And when I got 97 and I was 26 years old, I won my first heat race on asphalt. And I was 27 years old when I won my first feature on asphalt. And let me tell you something. After that, it's an addiction like you can't believe. And you just love being out there. You love racing with your buddies. I enjoy just being in the atmosphere, being around everybody, talking to everybody, having a good time. Had a time with a crew chief that was a very negative person, and it made things a little hard. And I don't want to be that way anymore. I want to go have fun. If I'm there, we run 10th, we run 5th or whatever, we're going to have a good time. And that's what it means to me. I want to be out there racing. We'll win one. We've won our share. I've won more races than a lot of people have never won. Some people never won one, not even a heat race, but they had fun.
Well, by looking at 25 or 26 cars in this Crown Stock race, it looks like a lot of them are getting the same idea of just going out and having something that's functioning. Whether you win, Marcus and Ryan, they're always stating that and we have done it in the studio, that there are races going on in every corner of that racetrack. Whether you're in the top 5 or if you're in the middle of the pack or in the back, you're still battling somebody. And that's great to see with a lot of these guys that are going to move on, or they're just getting the experience to have fun. And not really worried about having the checkered flag and all the accolades that come with finishing in the top 3 or whatever it is. If they finish top 10 or top 15 and load it up and go home, they got a lot of stories to talk about and a smile on their face.
Yeah.
What's the name of the driver of the 69 car?
Michael Hind.
Michael Hind?
Yeah.
I'm talking about in Crown Stock, sir.
Oh,
He's got to be here. He was there the other night.
Oh, Zachary Dickerson?
That dude is having a blast. The first time he showed up, he still had the stock exhaust on. You couldn't even hear it running.
Oh, I know 69 you're talking about. Yeah, I do.
Camo car?
Yeah.
Dude, he gets out, he unloads. He barely has any tools. He's got a jack, maybe a spare tire. It's about all he's got. But he gets out of the car and he's got the biggest grin. Man, Jeff, oh, dude, I had a blast, man. And he run like 10th one night, and you thought he won the thing.
Yeah, but I think his first couple of nights there, he almost backed into people leaving.
Yeah,
to go line up on the racetrack. It's so quiet, people don't know he's moving, and he was almost backed up over people.
It was sitting there running with air conditioner on the first night you ran. It was sitting there with AC blowing ice cold.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, Zachary. I'm glad you're having fun, and go after that win. I'm sure he's trying to do the best he can. But if you can load it up and go home and have those stories, and especially guys like us talking about it, hey, you must be doing something right.
Yeah, if you can load it up in one piece and continue to build on, not have to rebuild it, that makes a huge difference too. You're spending your money going faster and not fixing stuff that got broke.
For sure, tearing up equipment sucks.
A lot.
Yeah, and just before we sign off, speaking of those Crown Stocks, we will have our Story Bleich Roofing Crown Stock Driver of the Week coming up before we sign off. So
why don't we do it now?
Well, we could do it now, but I wanted people to stay tuned.
All right, well, we'll do.
We'll keep it a secret. It's kind of like don't unwrap your gift before Christmas.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but if it works either way, it'll work either way. But I don't know. I kind of like the secret.
All right, let's keep going.
Because now they don't know. Now they're wanting to know.
Now they're
like, damn it, tell us.
Who the hell is it? I'm not going to tell you. So there, you're just going to have to wait.
Yeah, see, that was all scripted, folks.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Yeah, we just, that's the ticket.
No, we just playing. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, we're loading the cars up and getting a good night's rest on Friday and moving on to Mobile. The race, Mobile International Speedway at a Pro Late model event over there. The Crown Stocks, a lot of those names we just went through are going to be listed again. But man, they had a little bit of a same scenario as the modifieds in Friday night at Five Flags here at the Pro Late models in Mobile with Dustin Smith not following protocol.
Crossed the finish line first. Unfortunately, didn't stay there.
Well, the bad part about that was they let him go to the truck before they disqualified him. I think you shouldn't let a man leave the tech area until he's either good or not good. And they let him leave, and then they come over to the truck and took his trophy back and said, nope.
Sorry.
Yeah, that kind of sucks for Dustin. He's been doing really good lately in the pros and the supers. And, man, he's probably our only real local late model racer that runs the big races. So, Dustin, you'll get him next time, brother.
Yeah, it was just a bit of an oversight. They swapped the motor and just
forgot to change the carburetor spacer.
Yeah.
Right.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, and, legitimately, sometimes that happens. And we're not going to say it didn't this time, but it probably did. Yeah. But then again,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's right.
But congratulations. Yeah, right. Right. Congratulations to Landon Devon. Don't know a whole lot about him from Wetumpka, Alabama. Comes down and is the beneficiary of that misfortune.
Somebody has to be.
But he had to complete every single lap, and he had to hold on to second place, so he earned it.
Right. Got to be there to be there.
That's right.
Grant Thompson comes away second. Greg Ford from Greenville, Mississippi. Trent Williams and David McDade. I've heard that name before.
Me too. The number 75 Sportsman car.
I've raced against him a few times. He's a cool guy.
Yep. I remember that car.
Yeah.
Red, white, and blue, if I'm not mistaken. I think
it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Sure
car. Was. Yep. It was. I've banged fenders to him a few times. Great guy though.
Yeah, in the latter half of that, Elliot Massey in the 4 car finished 6th. Gavin Graham, we talked quite a bit about. That 70 car was 7th. Dylan Courtney, Chase McLemore, and, of course, Dustin Smith rounding out the end of that field because of the misfortune. But, hey, that That Pro Late model event over there with 10, 12 cars, but that's got to be a good deal. Yeah, sportsmen were out there too. They loaded up on Friday night, went to Mobile, and had kind of the same turnout. We had 7 cars over there, but Jim, you weren't there that night. You just kind of took over some visuals and got some notes, or took some notes maybe.
No, I watched it, but the problem we had with my car was that fuel issue, and I had an oil leak in my transmission I had to go fix. And I was like, if I go over there and I blow my transmission to pieces, it just isn't worth it. Nothing against Eddie. I want to go over there and race. They got a race coming up June the 8th. I'll probably go. And it was a good show. I mean, but Chad's been dominating over there. With that same car that he beat me in 2000 at the championship with. And I have to say this, and I'm going to say it, Eddie, I love you, but you don't need to be owning any race cars that race at your racetrack. It looks bad when the car dominates.
It does.
It looks not good on you, sir.
Understand they're revamping the second half of the schedule a little bit too, so that you need to go to the website and
I've looked at it. Yeah, they're just I think they're moving some stuff around. It didn't look that much different to me, but okay.
They're trying.
They're trying. So,
well, Chad Robinson and rounds out. Well, Chad Robinson takes the lead. Chad Robinson takes the win there over B.J. Latham, Corey Bodie, Cameron Latham, and Howard Langham, Bo Martin, Sam McDaniel. Might as well just go around.
All right, right on down the list, yeah.
So that rounds out the sportsman there. The Mon Louise Island Construction Sportsman feature. Pure Stocks. We didn't mention them on Friday night, but they had an event on Saturday night in Colby McDonald. There they are. I guess no relation to the McDonald's.
No, they're no relation.
No relation. Colby McDonald, Mason Johnston. We've talked about Eli Loper, Robert Barber, and Thomas Norman. The top 5 of that Pure Stocks. And, the Pure Stocks put on just as good show as anybody else, too.
And let me tell you a story about that race. Robert Barber went out and practiced and blew his engine. He called my good buddy Ben Cranford. I need to borrow your car.
Really?
Yeah. And they got there, and he bolted on the tires that he had on the car. He didn't buy any. He went out and drove from the back, drove all the way up, and was giving McDonald all he wanted, and ran out of fuel.
No.
They didn't put any fuel in the car. They got there in time enough to just about put tires on it and line it up.
Wow.
And he's done told Ben, you got a front running car here. So Ben's excited about getting back to Five Flags and getting back behind the wheel of that famous 343, which if I hadn't brought it up before, 343 is the 343 firemen that died on 9/11. Right. I think that's a cool number for a race car.
It is. Nice, yeah. Very significant.
Yep. So awesome job, man. Robert Barber driving that car for the first time and actually damn near winning the race with it.
Well, it shows what you can do if you have determination.
Yeah, well, and seat time.
Yeah.
Ben is one of my best friends, and he does not listen to you. You have to be in that car every time there's a practice.
Right.
You've got to go make laps, burn up tires. You're not learning nothing sitting there at home playing on your phone or doing whatever you're doing. You got to get out there and practice if you want to get any better.
Nothing get iRacing, but
no, but you need to be in a race car.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's like me. I used to do that. I used to go every practice. Then I got my car where I could make 5 laps and knew whether it was spot on or spot off.
Right.
Then I killed that car at Snowball Derby, but that's another thing. But great show in the Pure Stock race. It was actually a dadgum good race, so I'm happy for them too.
And then once again, scads of Crown Stocks.
I'm telling you, it looked like everybody just got together and said, "Hey, we're all going to Mobile." Like IAL. Let's follow each other because they had 20 plus over there too.
Yay!
Anyway.
Yep.
Who ended up winning that one over there?
Well, they've got a kitchen listed, but it was Braden Kitchen that was actually winning, not Brandon and not Willie. No. It was Braden Kitchen. One of our
Crown Stock Drivers of the Week.
Crown Stock Drivers of the Week, and Chris Mitchell. Remember that name?
Yep.
Philip Griffin, Noah Carter, and Caleb Sanford, top 5 that Crown Stocks. But there was 20 plus cars in that. I guarantee you, on a weekend, if you run Friday and Saturday night and load it up and come home, boy, you've got a lot of stories.
That class is it was a great idea. Now, if they could just curb the cheating, it'd be even better.
The inequality, and I saw the photo finish. It was very close.
Oh yeah, they were banging fenders all the way down the front straightaway. So it was a great show, man. I'm telling you, they are the best class going right now.
Yeah.
Of any class that races at either racetrack, Crown stocks are it.
Yeah. The only class that has more are the pros and the supers.
They don't. Even them don't have 20 cars.
No.
Very rarely do the late models have 20 cars. I mean, it's supposed to be cheap racing, but they're going to have to fix that a little bit.
Yep. I think we had discussed swapping computers, but I've heard it's easy, heard it's not. So
I have heard I was discussing that with Wayne Burkett. As a matter of fact, this weekend we were Saturday night at the Sandshaker having a few adult beverages discussing racing, and he said Ricky Brooks tried that, and some of the cars would start and some of them wouldn't. So it wasn't a good idea, so it didn't work.
Dang.
No.
So, it's one of those things, I mean, you got to figure something out. We need to be able to, like your assembly line data link, which you can hook to the computer. If you can't plug in and it doesn't work, you should be disqualified. That should be something that's required to work on the cars. Like our RevBox has to work. That should have to work.
Right.
Well, that's going to wrap up the weekend here at Five Flag Speedway and Mobile. We do have some news from with Ted's got the cars
across
the Z-Max.
Yes.
I know they got rained out here just past weekend, but
did they?
did they? Yeah, I saw them wading through. I think the infield. They were waist high in water, so but they've had to pack up and go and move on from there, huh?
It was North Watersboro.
North Watersboro.
It was bad. So they're headed to Tri-County Speedway, Hudson, North Carolina, a little 4/10 of a mile track for the next event, which is coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact. And let's just run down some of the folks that are going to be there in the late model stock and the pro late model entry lists that we have for this event. Late models will have a lot of these names I know you've heard before, but some we haven't. So let's just get over it and see what happens here. Chase Burrow, Brendan Queen, Ronnie Bassett Jr., Deke McCaskill, Andrew Grady, Brandon Pierce, Dexter Kneep Jr., I hope, Bobby McCarty, Carson Quapple, Buddy Isles, Ryan Millington, Chris Walker, Chad McCumbee, Caden Honeycutt, Connor Hall, Cade Brown, Connor Zillish, who had a victor here not too long back, Brent Cruz, Landon Huffman, Connor Jones, Tommy Joe Martins, Bryce Applegate, Stephen Massey, let's look out for Isabella Robusto, who had a second place finish, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, recently, Landon Lewis, Cameron Boland, Katie Hendinger, Trayton Lapsevich, Minnie Tyrell, and Jacob Hefner. There's a few former winners, and there are several former winners in there, as a matter of fact. So, for the late model stocks.
Yeah, and a big shout out to old Butterbean. He had a good run in the truck race at North Wilkesboro.
All right.
Run fourth in the truck race. His first time sitting in a truck. So old Butterbean got the job done. I just wanted to throw that out there for him. That was awesome. Good to see a short track guy getting another NASCAR deal. And speaking of that, Thomas's favorite ground pounder modified driver, Jason Bonsignor, is going to get a Joe Gibbs ride.
Yikes!
At New Hampshire in a Xfinity car.
No,
Justin getting it done.
36 years or 30, I think he's 34 years old. Let me tell you something. They're letting a lot of these older guys in their 30s start to run these races because I think they're realizing the talent these guys have and they're giving them a shot.
Yeah, his son's running that ground pounded series too.
Yes.
I can't write that. I can't remember his name. I think it may be Justin and Austin or something like that. But his boy, so he's not a teenager. I mean, he's a veteran like Doug Kobe and Matt Hirschman. Will be talked a lot about with those ground pounders up there in the New Hampshire and Connecticut area. But yeah, when his boy's up there running against that father-son deal, those big machines, I love it.
I just love the fact that some of these NASCAR teams are finally giving, like I said, these short track guys that have stuck to the short tracks, raced hard, won a lot of championships, won a lot of races, and they're finally getting a shot to run a big race.
Just one note there, he qualified 26th. And finished fourth in that race, so he did a lot of work to get to where he was. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Butterbean, yep.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, and to continue where we were, come back to the pro late model entry list, runs as follows. Kyle Campbell, Jimmy Renfrew Jr., Tristan McKee, Brandon Lopez, Tyler Church, Ashton Higgins, Jonathan Schaefer, Jake Bowman, Spencer Davis, Caden Quapple again, Nick Loden, Joshua Horneman, Connor Jones, again, Caden Honeycutt, Tyler Tanner. Katie Headage is going to run a dual run there. Logan Jones, TJ DeCare, who we've talked about before, and Dylan Garner are going to be in that event. So that should be fun to watch and have some serious competition there.
That's going to be a show. It could be a good race. And we've got Hickory coming up.
Yeah.
You know, the ASA Stars Tour and
the Tar Heel 250.
Tar Heel 250.
Yeah.
And our boy Bubba Pollard, who wasn't going to be in the race because his cars are being repaired. He's had some bad luck and motor troubles, he said. But a big shout out to Tony Elrod and his wife for offering their car to Bubba Pollard to keep his points in the ASA series and let him run that car up there. And I was in contact with Tony Elrod earlier, and he's going to be in touch with us. But that was so awesome of them to actually offer Bubba Pollard a ride in his car. He did it in Mobile, and Bubba led a lot of that race towards the end, and he had a good shot at the win. So, you know, maybe Bubba shipped a motor or something down there and helped them out. We don't know. It's a Hamke chassis, and we know Bubba's used to driving Senecas. But, I mean, it's got 4 wheels and a steering wheel, and I think Mr. Pollard's going to get on that wheel and get it done.
Yes, he is. If it's at all possible, he'll do it.
So, and I think Tony Elrod, and it's just my opinion, I hadn't asked him this, but I'm going to, but I think that if you let somebody drive your car that's that good and that experience, it's got to help you become a better driver and help get your car even better. Yeah. So congratulations and thank you again, Tony Elrod. Good luck, Bubba Pollard. Get it done, brother.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like he and Tony have developed a good relationship, and he's been in that equipment before. They've talked. They're probably on the same level, got the same terminology, and that chemistry's working. So you never know. I mean, you take that car to the front and bring home the hardware from Hickory. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Nope. That's the question I'd like to ask Tony Elrod. How did y'all come out with that deal, and what's the logistics? I mean, you're bringing the car. Is he paying for everything? I mean, I just want to know how that came about. You know, Bubba got in that wreck in Pensacola, and Tony Elrod went, "Hey, man, take my car to Mobile and race."
That may have been the exact start of the entire situation. The relationship they've got very successful for both of them.
Yeah, we look forward to that. That's probably going to be next week or the following. We'll have the news for sure. Right here at the studio, the Short Track Guys podcast. Five Flag Speedway, the next event there, the Alan Turner Prolate number 2, the Pro Trucks. Pure Stock and Crown Stocks are May 31st. And I believe it's going to be May 25th in Mobile. The Outlaws, Pure Stock, Pro Truck, Crown Stocks, and the Legacies there. And we'll have a little bit more of a schedule, I guess, for the later half of Mobile. I don't have it listed, but...
It's up on their website. I mean, not this website, but they've actually listed it. I've got a copy of it. So it doesn't look that big of a difference. I have to sit down and compare the two. But they put it on their Facebook. So
there will be more racing past May 25th at Mobile.
They already have
a given.
They had a second half of the schedule already put out, and they've changed it. So,
all right, winding down here a little bit, we do want to bring up our Story Bleich Roofing Crown Stock Driver of the Week, which we did the hint. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Major.
Kept it a secret. Went hint, and here's the answer. And our driver of the week is Chris Mitchell. Chris Mitchell gets it done this past weekend. Very stellar. I believe it was 2 top 5s, if not 2 podiums from Five Flags in Mobile.
Yep.
Chris, congratulations, sir. Well deserved, and keep going.
And that man is Augie Grill's late model crew chief.
Well, I wonder he might have a little bit of inside information.
And from what I understand, he's a Yankee.
I would think so.
He's a Yankee from what I've heard. So great job, Chris, man. He's won one in Mobile this year.
Yep.
And he's runs top 2 or 3 every time he comes. So I think him and Augie got that old Crown Stock running good. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, Ted. For God's sakes. Stop it.
Yeah. One of those little bit more equal cars. And
nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more. Say no more.
Possibly.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm having a little fun here. That's all.
Hey, that's why we're here.
Yep.
Yeah. But
what else are we gonna do?
We're gonna go. We're gonna do some. We got a bunch of racing coming up. I'm going to Montgomery Saturday night to help my buddy Jeremy Peebles in the late model Sportsman, which is a super late model on 8-inch tires and a 2-barrel.
Ooh, nice. That's a pretty cool combination.
It is. And he I tell you what, he's been up practice twice. He went the last time, just me and him went, and he did really well. And he's, I told him this first race, stay in the back, pass when you can, don't do anything silly, and we'll go from there. So I hope we have some fun. And then I'm going to be dirt tracking Sunday with Mike Gorham and his daughter, which I'm going to tell you what, a few weeks ago at Baker, she drove one hell of a race. Battling for third, catching the second place car, bouncing that thing off the fence, not lifting, and she spun late in the race because the car stumbled on her getting in the corner, and when she stabbed it, got back in the gas, it lit up real quick and turned her around. But let me tell you something. I'm proud of that girl. She drove one hell of a race. So we look forward to getting her in victory lane.
Yeah, it looks like, speaking of that dirt tracking, we want to, kind of throw Blackman and Southern, which is in Milton. I think they've got a military appreciation night this weekend with 1,500 to win late model race. So, support your local racetracks.
Yes.
We brought Bronson, and there was another one. The name of it just kind of slipped my mind, but get out and support the racetracks, especially short tracks. You can get rid of this Kyle Busch fighting, Ricky Stenhouse, and then the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. I don't know what it is. I'm really, really up to here with the NASCAR deal.
Oh, it sucks. Now the trucks and the Xfinity, they put on a good show. The Cup cars do not. But I would like to say before we sign off tonight, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and people try to say, let's celebrate. We don't celebrate Memorial Day weekend. It's a weekend of remembrance of people who gave their lives for this great nation. So we can sit here and be on these microphones, so you can listen, so we can go to our short tracks, so we can have fun. It's because somebody made a sacrifice. Some of these heroes that gave their lives to either save another soldier's life or fight for our freedom. Right. Remember that. Remember to bow your heads and pray for these young men and women that have lost their lives or gave their lives for this great nation.
And for crying out loud, let's keep Memorial Day and Veterans Day separate. It's two completely different celebrations.
Absolutely.
It is.
Oh, but we can, I ain't going to bring that up. Anyway.
Memorial. Just think memorial is a memory, remembrance.
Yeah. Right. And Labor Day is for us hard-working folks, but I'm telling you, we just don't forget the men and women, and even our police officers, first responders, our firemen that have sacrificed their lives to keep this nation safe. Just remember them too. Just it's a Memorial Day. It's for memory, and let's do that and do it right.
Yeah. Let's watch the Memorial Day weekend 1100, and I will have to pull for our buddy Kyle. Just to see if he might be able to pull it off.
Dude, you know how awesome that would be if he won the Indianapolis 500?
Yep. That would be.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, at plus 700, he's going to be my pick. Yeah. I'm going to put a little bit on that with a chance, because I think from what he's shown, I think it's very, very possible that it can happen. And it would not shock the world.
No, it would not.
It's not like he just got in it and said, wow, look at him trying to do the double duty. Well, no, this cat wins in everything.
Yeah, that's what people in the IndyCar series have said is, holy smokes, this guy is
this taxi cab driver.
He's a natural. He is a natural.
He's a natural in anything he drives. Sprint cars, dirt late models, doesn't matter. I want him to come to the Snowball Derby and drive a super late and see how good he does. That would be super awesome. But I tell you what, this weekend we also have the, I'm just going to say it, Verstappen's going to win the Formula One race. I don't doubt anybody can touch.
That would be the Grand Prix of Monaco.
The Grand Prix of Monaco, which is an awesome race.
Get up early, get your tea, eat your breakfast, watch Monaco.
Monaco's cool just because of where it is.
Yes,
right.
In France. Beautiful.
It's a beautiful racetrack, even though Verstappen's probably going to put a Verstappen.
Yes, more than likely.
Yeah. So in a Cup race, that's going to be a tough one because that's 600 miles.
Yep.
But I tell you, I'm going to go out on a limb and pick Chris Buescher.
Just might.
I think the Fords are finally figuring out.
Yeah.
And he damn near won that race before Wilkesboro, Kansas. He lost Kansas by just next to nothing to Kyle Larson.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick Chris Buescher. I think that's who I'm going to pick.
Yeah, I'm not even that field is too talented and too full of really good drivers to try to come up with somebody. So
eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Ted.
Yeah, I know it's rough.
Yeah,
it's difficult. I'd love to see Blaney take it.
Not a bad pick at all.
Right.
You know what's so funny about him? They were talking about him the other day, that he is such a guy on the radio, but when he gets in the car, he's like, well, it just happened. He's not one that's going to throw a punch like somebody else did.
Yeah, well, he had.
Of course, Kyle, if anybody in the pits, and I'm not a Kyle Busch fan, but somebody sometimes that needs a punch in the mouth, yeah, I would say it'd be Kyle Busch.
Oh boy, yeah.
But you don't walk up and start talking to somebody and then take a swing at him. That's just...
Yeah, well,
Kyle didn't grab him, didn't touch him. But Stenhouse was on a podcast, and he said that he grinned at him when he didn't apologize and just gave me that smart alecky grin. He said, that's when I popped him.
yeah.
So...
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Who's your picks, Ted? I mean, Thomas?
I'm going to let you know Monday.
Wow.
No, I mean, I would have to take Verstappen simply because, he's been so dominant in Formula One. And Formula One, if you really qualify in the top 2 or 3, there's your race right there. Yeah. I mean, you can't do middle of the field and expect, unless something like drastic happens. But I think if I would take Verstappen, as far as a cup race, I don't know. I would love to see the double pulled.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle winning at Indy. But I just don't think that's, I don't think the energy could be transferred from one to the other. I think that's just too much. I'm glad because I'm going to be off. So I'll get up and have my tea. I will have breakfast and watch Monaco. I watch the Indy, and pull for Kyle, and then watch the 600 at night at Charlotte. So, I don't know. I don't know about the cup race, but I've got the 2 picks there.
That's a lot of effort to make that 1100 too. I mean, that is a whole lot. And their backup drivers have already been put in place for
in case there's rain or something like that.
Yeah.
But you got to think about this too. The cup cars aren't what they used to be. Solid rear end. 4-speed H pattern. They're transmissions are transaxles. They run it on tires similar to what an Indy car runs on now. They're low profile tires. So the transition from car to car isn't as great as it used to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're lighter. Yes, there's differences, but the cars are a little bit closer now. So, I mean, he could do it. I mean, like I said, Tony Stewart finished top 6 at Indy and then went over to Charlotte and run 4th.
Yeah, that was pretty stellar. I mean, that's about as close as you're going to get unless you pull it off. And we'll see. But, I mean, if of anybody that's tried it or is trying it, I would think, they talks with Kyle Busch, Richard Childress allowing him to try to do it next year.
Right.
If you put Kyle and Kyle together, Kyle Larson is so far out there into the ability to have it accomplished.
Right.
I don't think Kyle Busch has any chance. I just don't see that happening. But, if they try it, Kurt Busch tried it. Tony Stewart's different. Tony Stewart has got the race mentality. He comes from that short track dirt world.
But he's also an Indy
cars, yeah. So he was familiar with it. So I mean, there's some adaptations to get in to make it happen. So
Larson has a larger spectrum of experience too.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, the only difference between really Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson races more dirt.
Right.
Kyle Busch has won over 200 NASCAR races.
Yeah.
And trucks and Xfinity and the Cup. And not only that, but I mean, he's won in late models. So the dude's experienced. I don't know if he has I mean, they're the same on certain levels, but Kyle Larson's he has some natural ability over everybody. I'm sorry. Yep. I think if you put him in a Formula One car, he'd probably run in the top 5.
Yeah. Well, this particular weekend with the Indy then Charlotte, back to back, the double between those 2 drivers. I mean, I just think Kyle Larson's just far out front.
Right, and you're going about 40 mile an hour faster in that Indy car than you are.
Oh no, 40. I think Charlotte did run about 180, so you're looking at about 60.
No, I'm talking about
50 or 60.
At ultimate top speed. Yeah,
they don't run 200 at the end straight away at Charlotte. They run about 180, 185.
Not saying at Charlotte. Just there are places, Michigan, Talladega, Daytona, where you can hit those.
Okay, yeah, you can. But I mean, as far as the difference in the 2 tracks they're going to be running on the same day, you're talking about a flat racetrack that you're flat out and you're having to adjust the weight jacker as you go down the straightaway and all that. He's going to get in that Cup car and he's going to have to, on the way over there, he's going to have to totally reprogram himself to say, okay, I can't do this, can't do this, can't do that, I got to do this, and then get in the Cup car and go. So it's going to be very interesting. But there's one thing that I heard about Indy is if say the race starts and he has to go, nobody can get in the car. Once you start the car at Indy 500, they don't allow relief drivers.
Ooh.
So the car won't finish. But if he can't make the race, then I think who they have, Kester Neves? Tony Kanaan.
Yeah, Kanaan.
Tony Kanaan's waiting to get in the car. So Tony Kanaan would actually have to start the car to finish the 500.
Yep.
Now, NASCAR's different. But Kyle won't get any points, but he's already in the playoffs. So even if he missed a few laps of the Cup race, it wouldn't kill him.
No.
And if he wins, I really hope Rick Hendrick lets him stay and enjoy victory lane for a few minutes. If they got somebody to start the car for him, it's all so he'll start it and he'll finish it. But I mean, he doesn't need a win in the Cup Series. He's already got it. He's already in the playoffs. So, he could miss that whole Cup race and it wouldn't kill him.
Yeah. I think it's going to work out.
I think so.
I mean, it's good to work all those parameters out, but I mean, just to go and run, get in the helicopter, go and run again, I think it's going to work out like it did for everybody else.
Well, the weather looks good.
Yeah.
So, they shouldn't have a problem. And I said, it's just super cool to see a guy that came from the short tracks, came from nothing, and made himself to the Cup Series, made a stupid mistake, got kicked out, now he's back. And he's he's already a Cup champion.
Yeah.
And he's kicking the crap up. And he's going to go get in an Indy car that they put together for that race. It's not a Penske car. It's not a Foyt car. It's not, all those teams. It was a deal they put together with March, I believe. Is it March or no, McLaren?
Yeah.
And it's Chevrolet powered and sponsored totally by Rick Hendrick and HendrickCars.com.
Well, there you have it.
So you go get them, big dog.
Yeah. Good luck, Kyle. We'll be pulling for you.
Absolutely.
This weekend. Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget it is a remembrance time. Enjoy the races of Monaco, Indy 500, and the Coke 600 at Charlotte. We will talk all about that in the upcoming episode. And hey, until then, thank you, Story Bleich Roofing, for your support. We appreciate it very much. We do have the Muffler Mafia.
Yes.
McDonald Muffler and Mobile coming back very soon.
Yep.
We do appreciate your support as always. And hey, I guess we're going to a big sign off this weekend with
hang on 1 second.
Oh.
Let's remember, everybody, give us a good review. Move us up in the charts. Keep digging with us. Tell your friends about us. Do what we got to do. And Thomas was going to give us a big send off. So
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's just a big 1,
2,
3.
Let's go,
Brandon. Good night, everybody.
Be strong, America.
Thanks for listening.